Mahila. Also, remember when it's time, remember when I was on the bus, Clays Mill Road, going back to Copperfield from Clays Mill, DJ stood up, DJ Bruggeman, who lived down the street. I was in the same grade as his brother Ryan, and he had the Charizard, holographic, and he had a couple of holographics that were pretty cool. And he stood up, and everyone was quiet on the bus. And he goes, "Why's everybody sad? It's spring break." And like everyone kind of you know, like lit up then. And that was pretty cool. And he was kind of Irish, kind of freckled, and but had like darker brown hair. And yeah, he lived kind of on the corner of that Corona. And if you turn right there, then go down the street and then turn left, you're at my house. And then Bobby Kesky lived right next door to us. And I think Bobby Kesky has the song out right now that sounds like reggae. Did nothing for you or whatever. And that's all just tied in with going over to his house for breakfast before school. And one time, I was having carnation instant breakfast at just our house, and I would always miss my blanket that Dee Dee made me. That was kind of like bright colored, and it'd be like putting on my shoes, kind of like Dawn. Kind of a dread, and having to tie them, like not, kind of learning late to tie them. And then we had a bus driver that had glasses and was kind of bald, and he waited for me one time, and I was on the sidewalk, and then I just turned around and went back to the house, and me and my dad got Burger King, and he took me to school. But I think Bobby and Blake were on the bus, and they were probably like, "What's going on?" And then I went, and then I turned around. And but then one time when Bobby came to visit, because he moved to Florida, um, he was chasing his dog down the street, and my brother was like, "Why didn't he come over and say hi to us?" And it was like he had his hands full, running around like chicken head cut off, sort of thing, with the Brueggemans, and didn't come over and see the bedding fields. Just stuff like that. And then like but we would watch kind of like Hercules animated series at Bobby's. And Bobby had this snake dog, kind of like the Polios have, or had. I don't know if it's still alive. But kind of like a skinny snake dog, like Prince of Egypt, and it was kind of like spotted. So it looked kind of like a wild animal. Like it looked like a hyena or something, but like a more like a giraffe, like a hyena giraffe. And I would go up the stairs saying Michael J. Fox, Michael J. Fox. I would go up the stairs saying that. And Tori was his sister, and Allie was his older sister. They were both older. Tori was in the middle. And one time I slapped her. I slapped her during, we were playing kick the can, and I slapped her because, I don't know, I just felt some sort of rage at that point. I was young too. And they took me by both arms, and I had to get I think I got my mouth washed out with soap, and I think I got spanked too, with the belt. And, you know, that was that. But I had been watching, True Lies and these other things. And, you know, it was like right before or right, yeah, I think it was right before Johnny moved into the basement at Copperfield. This is 1360 Glenview. And, yeah, that was like one of the last times that I, saw Tori, but they were pretty cute, man. They both Tori and Allie. Allie was pretty hot. But and then Bobby was the youngest, and he was a cheesehead. He really liked uh, Packers, Green Bay, when Favre was playing. He was all about that. We would play Goldeneye, and he had kind of like an Hey Arnold room, kind of. It was like his room was different from the rest of the Copperfield houses. And they might have all been a little bit different, and they kind of were the ones that I was in, but like his, it was like it had like a little corner space, like that was squared off. That was like a lookout. It was like a lookout spot, and had a window and stuff, and just the way he had his room, like he had the cheese head up high, like in the corner, like a loaf of cheese, and like it would just sit there in the corner, and you're wondering like, how is this house like Ross DeWitt's house, where like the shelf is built into the wall? Like you just wonder these things, and you're like, my room isn't like this at all. It's all like, it's all like there's no shelf space like that. It's all, you have to supply the furniture, you know. So then when I moved out to the guest room, that's when Hastings moved into our house. It was like that summer he moved in, and we would read our books in bed next to each other, and I would kind of like, try to be like real close to him. Like I thought he was cool, and he would kind of like move away, like he didn't want to, he he didn't think I was weird, but like he made sure like don't do anything that's like, thinking that like somebody might think something like that. He was real careful like that with everything. And like his dive, he would lift his head up and then go into streamline in the air, and everyone thought that was cool. And then like just pretty crafty. And then like, he made out with Beth in the diving well of Shillito. That's where they made out one time, and Dan Savanto saw it. And then like, but the thing was, is the Polish guy was with Beth too. They were like the same age, and the Polish guy lifted me up when I got stampeded, during the push in the coach for the win at Pinnacle, because we barely ever won that. The first couple of years, I think the first year we didn't have any wins. That's when my dad came back from Illinois, where he tried to get up there the first time, and then the Copperfield coach, it was already changed. So we went to Pinnacle, but we lived in Copperfield. Then, right before 9/11, we moved to Kenwood, and then that's when everything changed with the OCD and all that. But right in those 2 summers there was the Polish guy in Hastings, and the Polish guy kind of knew about Drew, who, they say now had like a mental disability or something. But like he would talk about the Pistons and all this stuff, and he would like drive Beth around, also, but like in the car. But like we went to Blimpie and he wouldn't share his sandwich with me, and like I was just kind of starved. But I think I had a sandwich, but I wanted more, just stuff like that. But like we would go to Portillo's in Chicago, and my dad would say stuff like, you know, Brock or my kids, they have a large fry and a hot dog and a roast beef, the big beef at Portillo's, and then they want more. He would say stuff like that to Kathy, and Kathy, her kids are Talia and Joey, and Joey was into film like that, um, uh, Freddie Prince Jr. era, and then Talia is big into dance. So, but yeah, on the bus, DJ, he said, "Why is everybody sad? It's spring break."